Hello, ESCBubble. It's that time of year again. Festival da Canção is just around the corner, and today we are joined by the brilliant Peculiar. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah. I
Fantastic.
tried to choose a name that was like readable in all languages, but apparently I failed because I've been seeing a lot of reactions from other countries, and there's a lot of mispronunciations of my name, but that's okay. Like in Portuguese, like peculiar. In English, that's peculiar. I was like, in Spanish, peculiar. I thought
Yeah.
like of
Yeah.
a word that was like readable in all. You just change the accent. But
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, people are adding like syllables that don't exist in the name and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
In theory, it opens you up to other markets, but yeah, people will always add their take on it. So yeah. But anyway, you are here today to talk about your, again, am I pronouncing it right? Is it Adamastor, your song
I
for
don't-
Festival da Canção?
actually, your Portuguese accent is not far off. So
It's not the first time.
congrats to you.
Yeah. What sparked the inspiration to have that name in particular? What did you like about it?
It actually came like a little bit from my growing up and the place I come from. So I'm living in Lisbon right now, and I make my life in Lisbon like for some years now. But I'm originally from the south side of Portugal, from a town called Faro. In Portugal, like the music industry and cultural industry in general is not very much advanced besides in Lisbon and maybe in Porto. So it's a little bit hard, I would say, when you have those types of interests like of creating art and just creating in general. I definitely felt a little bit of a hardship trying to find my group of people, and that made me notice the things that I had about myself that were different. And also started noticing those things in other people. So what are known as peculiarities. I'm sure like you have things about you that your friends say, "Oh my God, that's so Joe," like those are the things that make you you.
Classic Joe.
Yeah, classic Joe. So like I really believe like if you emancipate those little things about you and if you're proud of them, you will find your group of people and you will not be lonely. And you're never lonely because we find ourselves and we see our reflections in music and in
Mm.
other types of art. So, in general, it was because of that, because I wanted to spread this message of like having the courage to be yourself and emancipating those weird things about you that make you you throughout my music.
So I had a little bit of a listen to some of your other songs. Like there is an overarching sense of like Portuguese tradition in there. There's an element
Mhm.
of fado, but like it's also, it is very modern. There's a bit of hip hop in there. There's a bit of electronic. Like, where do you sort of see yourself in the Portuguese music scene? Like, what do you think you bring?
Portugal was very much influenced by Rosalia's career, and when she had, let's start this breakthrough, and all of a sudden you started seeing, because Spain is right next to us, so all of a
Yeah, yeah,
sudden we started seeing a possibility of singing in our language and having our culture and our tradition being heard throughout the world. Besides fado and what is considered world music, like we wanted
yeah,
to we consider like pop music, but like with Portuguese characteristics. Each one of us has a different perspective on it and a different take. Like maybe some of us go find like more inspiration in fado. Maybe some of us go more like cantalentejano. For example, I inspired myself a lot in. So we had this moment in Portuguese history, the ditadura, dictatorship, and
yeah.
then the 25th of April.
Mm.
During that time, there was like a surge in what we call intervention music. I actually have a drawing of him.
Oh,
This
yeah.
famous musician, his name is like Zeca Afonso because
Oh,
like
wow. Yeah.
his
Is that
song
is that in the style that they have at the airport? Like, there's a big mural of like drawings in that style. Like,
probably
is it the
because
same
like
artist as it? Yeah.
no, I don't think it's the same artist. This artist
Right.
like from Instagram, but like maybe there's like a
Okay.
drawing of him because in Portugal he's considered like very important. His lyrics, for example, are so poetic and have a lot of metaphors about nature and everything. But at the same time, there's a very latent like political message and social
Yeah.
critique behind it. And that really inspired my writing. And also the sonority of his like melodies also really inspired mine because it's something, I don't know, I identify with Portuguese. It's like, it's melancholic, but at the same time hopeful. I don't know
Yeah,
if that makes
that's
sense.
exactly what I get every year from Festival da Canção.
Yeah.
I really feel of like because that word "saudade" that you just can't translate it into any other language, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what it is. Yeah.
It's a melancholy that's
Mm.
hopeful, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know,
Definitely.
like all of that like really inspires me, and
Mm.
of course having the references as for example Rosalia, Setanganas, Stromae, Mahmoud, like
Wow, it's a broad melting pot, as it were. Yeah, and
because like what inspires me in them, it's like especially this, the way they can mix like tradition with the future and not
yeah.
just create music, but create a whole universe that represents them and the places they come from.
So Adamastor, am I right in saying is like some sort of mythological nautical figure? Like,
Yeah,
do you want to tell a bit of the story about like what this is all about?
I'm very surprised, Joe. You're very well informed about Portuguese culture and about our
Well,
accent.
you
So
can't go into this cold, you know.
so no, yeah, actually, Adamastor is a figure in Portuguese mythology. It's actually very like known because there was like this famous piece from Luís de Camões, that's a famous like writer. The piece is called Os Lusíadas, and we all learn it in like middle school. So
Oh,
we
right.
all know the story, and because there's an episode on Lusíadas that's just Adamastor and basically
Oh.
all of the story behind it. But I wanted to make that story a little bit more mine and change it
Mm,
and focus more on like what I thought was important about the Damastor. The Damastor, I think, mainly represents fear. It's a figure that represents
mm,
fear. It's real, but at the same time, it's not because it's not something that exists. It's something that they would imagine that the Damastor is basically the little voice in your head that you're constantly listening to that's saying it's trying to protect you, but actually it's telling you that like you're not enough or you shouldn't try to do something because you might fail. And I think like the whole meaning of the song, it's like a hymn, a battle song that incentivizes you to fight that voice and to have the courage to break free from it, to be yourself and to speak what you think and having like this freedom of choice and of expression. I would say.
every comment I see on YouTube is like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to see this on stage. It has so much staging potential." Like I think because of the structure of the song, it really lends itself to like a visual performance. And like, what have you got planned for the stage at Festival da Canção? And like, how are you going to bring the like violent sort of nautical imagery in this song to life?
We try to connect the performance as much as we can with the meaning of the song and the concept
Mm,
of the song. So in my story, the Mastor is symbolized by this lighthouse, you know?
okay.
So the story is basically is not just a monster that doesn't let anything pass, but is a guardian that only lets people through that have the courage to show themselves without any masks or any fears through his light, you know? So you're gonna have a lot of movement, more movement that I'm used to. So I'm
Okay.
practicing.
Nice.
We're gonna have a big like light show and a lot of like imagery related to the lights because of the lighthouse. And it's going to be I say like a battle. So the courage fighting the fear, and we don't know who wins. I hope it's the courage, but it's going to be like this very intense, I would say, performance with a lot of movement, a lot of energy, and hopefully transmitting exactly what you hear, but like visually.
If you had the chance to like listen to other people's songs and like get to know other people, like who are you getting on with best? Who are your favorite? Who has your favorite songs?
So some people I already knew, and I was
Mm.
very excited to hear what will they bring to Festival da Canção. So, for example, Amy Curl, like I really love like
Yeah.
her sonority and her whole artistry. I think it's super nice. And other people I started knowing because of Festival da Canção. So, for example, I really like when I first listened to all the songs. My favorite one at the beginning was Chico's Gaiatos song, I Senhor. I thought like, oh my God, like we exist like in very similar
Yeah.
universes. Also in like more of folk traditional Portuguese music. I also really like Cantadeira song.
Yep.
Then there were like songs that I wouldn't usually listen to. For example, Lenka song. I'm not a very like rock or metal type of
Mm,
guy, but like I think the song is just so well made and
yeah.
like it
A
has
lot of
so
the
much
fans really like that
energy.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I really like that song as well. I really
Mm,
like Josh's song
yeah.
Tristeza because I don't know, first of all he sings like beautifully and also like he has like this capacity of like through very simple words express so much emotion, you know. And
In terms of Eurovision, how much of a fan do you consider yourself? Like, are there performances that have sort of stood out to you in the past?
I would say like some names that I really like, for example, last year, like one of the artists that I really like, two of the artists that I really liked were Bambi Thug. Like I
Yeah.
like if you saw what happened in their national finals, like the performance there,
Mm,
and how did they elevate all of that to the Eurovision
yeah.
stage? It's like
Oh, that studio, it's like a tin box. It's it's
yeah, it's
crazy.
like
Yeah.
it that started before the Eurovision and everything. Like Joost Klein had like such a
Yeah.
good like I think it's genius like marketing strategy on like
Yeah.
social media. And I don't know, it's like really goofy and nonsense, but at the same time
Sorry,
it's
I
like
forgot this part.
yeah, it's just
Just
like
like
at the same time it's like so powerful, I think.
you
Um
gonna borrow any of his style for your performance? Maybe, just like cut to blue screen at one point and like loading or something.
I would love to. I'm
Adamastor's not here yet.
yes, that would be like amazing. Also, like Marina Sati is like it's exactly what I said. It's one of those artists that mix like tradition with future, and it's just like I don't know. It's like super captivating. And I was very sad that he didn't pass the national finals and came to represent Italy. But I really, really, really liked Mahmoud's song.
I
Like
mentioned him
I,
already. I was expecting him to come
yeah.
up. Yeah.
I loved it. It was like it even had like the perfect choreography. Everyone
Mm.
knew like cinco
It's so
Severino,
seamless, like the way that
Saga
he like is perfectly in tune, but so like the dancing is so seamless as well. Like I was utterly in
that
awe of that performance.
that's like I think Eurovision in general like really levels up the game in terms of staging and performance like
Yeah.
worldwide. So like I don't know, it's just like a really cool experience and I don't know, it's like football but for people who love music. So
I love that you called us people who love music because I've heard worse.
no, but it's true like
Please go and listen to all of Peculiar's music, support new artists, go and listen to all of the acts this year at Festival da Canção. It's such a good cast. And as ever, keep following us on social media. We've got lots more national final reviews coming up. We've got interviews, we've got polls, we've got pretty much everything to get you through Eurovision season. Peculiar, muito obrigado,
thank you so
and
much.
boa sorte in Festival da Canção. We will see
Thank
you
you.
on the stage later this month.